Okay, now this is actually a pretty insane video. Picture this, you're just trying to report on a flood, and suddenly a mountain lion casually strolls into your newscast. Well, that's exactly what happened to this news reporter. She's there covering the flooding in Utah County when all of a sudden, a mountain lion walks right past her. Now, she thinks it's a dog at first, but I mean, clearly this thing is much bigger and wider, and not to mention, it doesn't look like a dog. It's pretty incredible how close she came to danger without even realizing it. I'd be freaking out. I mean, it's incredible how close the cat came to her. She's lucky. I do want to address the elephant in the room. What do we think here? Do we think she even knew that was a lion? I don't know. I need a statement from the news company. This next clip comes from India. We can see as this guy is just happily walking through the jungle, singing, just minding his own business. Suddenly, he hears something weird and whips out his camera. What he captures next is straight out of a nightmare. It's bizarre. I've heard of Bigfoot in North America and the Yeti in the Himalayas, but a creature like this in an Indian rainforest? Well, no, I haven't heard about that. Its size is definitely menacing, but the scariest part is when it sees the camera, it tries to duck and hide behind a tree. To me, that means it's smarter than we're giving it credit for. I don't know what it is, but I'm intrigued by it. I guess, yeah, sure, it could be a person in a suit, but who knows? What do you guys think? We all know most dogs are incredible protectors, but this video shows a situation which is beyond their normal responsibilities. The owner's dog starts going crazy, so he just grabs and checks his security cameras to see what's going on. And yeah, he was pretty surprised when he looked. A shadowy, almost translucent figure is darting around the room. It's there one moment, gone the next. The man is understandably baffled, but he admitted that he was a little scared too. Now, anyone that owns a dog has seen them react to unseen things before, but I do feel like this is on another level. What are you guys thinking about? And I'm not really sure what this could be. Let me know your theories in the comments. Now, this video claims to show a group of explorers encountering a lost tribe deep in the woods. Said tribe is clearly wary of these strangers, trying to basically scare them off. But doing what explorers do, they stay and film anyway. Now, I'm not sure where this was filmed, but it's supposed to be super remote. Yeah, I'm not sure that this is a place I'd like to find myself in the woods. But on the flip side, as we know, uncontacted tribes can be very dangerous. But these people seem pretty calm, even after being kind of provoked. One of the commenters pointed out that if this is supposed to be so remote, a thing that is throwing him off is that there is a road in one of the shots. And I kind of agree, it might throw in question this whole thing. This next clip is a personal account from Alexander Sanchez, and he has captured truly some unsettling footage. While out gathering leaves with his family, he captured something strange on camera. As they explored the woods near an abandoned house, the camera picked up an unusually dark figure moving along the ground. It almost seemed to crawl. Out of nowhere, this creature stood up, revealing a disturbing humanoid shape. Now, what's even weirder is that Alexander claims he wasn't wearing a hat this day, but in the video, he clearly is. He's wondering if he dipped into some sort of matrix. Now, this isn't the first time we've seen strange occurrences in abandoned buildings, but this is definitely one of the creepiest. So let me know your thoughts. Is this a paranormal entity or something else entirely? Okay, this is crazy. A group of women in downtown LA had a once-in-a-lifetime experience with a majestic red-tailed hawk. This guy decided their car was the perfect spot to hang out on, and for literally over 15 minutes, they were treated to an up-close and personal view of this incredible bird. Yeah, it's pretty crazy how calm and composed this hawk is, just sitting there, staring straight at the camera. These women tried everything to get it to leave, but clearly the hawk wasn't having it. They started using the windshield wipers, the washer fluid, swerving left, swerving right. They even called someone for advice. Nothing worked. It wasn't until the bird just decided it was time to move on. Well, if anything, these ladies have quite the story to tell. Now, this clip is straight out of a horror movie. Now, it starts, and for some reason this person is filming an underpass on a snowy night. The next thing you know, they start heading towards a house and a manhole. And the noises coming from that manhole are beyond creepy. It sounds like something out of a movie. What on earth is down there? What are we thinking? Are we thinking Pennywise is down there? Ugh, I hate clowns. One commenter said that this could easily just be a really weird plumbing issue. Either way, it's terrifying, and I'm not surprised the guy filmed it. This next clip is scary for different reasons. We see a young girl get off her scooter going to greet her dad, and out of nowhere this big dog comes rushing her. But dad isn't having it, and I don't blame him. The type of dog doesn't look like the traditional aggressive type, but when it comes to your kids, man, you can't play around. And it's hard to see the dog's body language, but he might just be in fact playing around. I don't know, but I don't blame dad for not taking any chances. And I'll say this, look, I am an animal lover. I have dogs. I've had them my entire life. I love them. Love, love, love. They are part of the family, but unfortunately, they're not equal to children. They're not. I'm sure most of us have seen the show The Walking Dead. So where do you stand on zombies? Fiction or frightening reality? Well, this video might make you rethink things. Captured on a trail camera, this creature looks straight out of a zombie movie. I mean, look at this thing. It's moving slow, stiff, a gaunt body and limbs, and the peculiar way it's just wandering around aimlessly. This is actually pretty creepy. Could this be proof that zombies are real? I say this a lot, but I feel like this is either... I often say this, but I feel like this is either the real thing or a fake. But at the end of the day, either way, it's creepy. This next bit of creepy footage was captured at 4:30 in the morning in El Paso, Texas in April of 2023. As the clip plays, we see a young woman come running up to this house, frantically trying to get someone's attention. She's alone, but it looks like she's worried that she won't be for long, like someone's chasing her. You can see as she continuously glances over her shoulder. You can see she's visibly upset in the camera. She's crying, pleading with them to open the door. All of a sudden, she must hear something, and she goes to crouch down. We soon see headlights. I feel like it's pretty clear at this point she's running from someone or has escaped from someone. I mean, she is distraught. Eventually, we see some headlights pull up, and she goes out towards the driveway, but no one knows if she got in the car or not. The camera didn't pick that up. As soon as this hit the online community, there were tons of speculation. Most notably was that she was being trafficked and she had escaped her traffickers. And many agreed that this really could be what it was, being near the southern border. Now, there was a faction of people that think she had a more sinister plan. They explained that this could have been a setup, that this woman was actually acting like she was frantic in hopes that the person would open the door and then people would come from around the corner and burglarize the home. They pointed out a few reasons, most notably that if she really needed help, when the neighbor's light came on, she would have gone over there. And you know, I have to kind of agree with that. Like, who cares who helps you if you're this frantic? This house, that house, who cares? Others say, and I can't really tell from the video, that she is walking up and then when she sees the camera, she starts to run and act frantic. I couldn't catch that, but a few weeks later, a mugshot hit the El Paso, Texas news, and many are speculating that it is the same girl, which is quite the plot twist. That story was never able to be corroborated, but what do you guys think? Admittedly, I thought the former. I thought maybe she had escaped someone, maybe not a trafficker, but just a bad situation. But I will say the other group has made some good points. If you need help, you need help. Why didn't you just go to the neighbors? I don't know. Very interested in what you guys think. I don't think I've paid more attention to our skies and the thoughts of extraterrestrial visiting than I have this past year or so. I mean, it seems like a never-ending puzzle. We've got glowing orbs, shape-shifting lights, speeding bullets flying through the air. I mean, there's always something crazy going on up there. This clip captures a bright light zooming across the sky in a way that, well, no ordinary plane can. I mean, this thing has some speed. It maneuvers weirdly, and to sum it up, it's not your average aircraft. What is it? I'm saying secret government project or a freaking UFO. In this next clip, we see Grandma, and she is just here celebrating a birthday. She's got her family surrounding her, and she's happy. Now, to me, and to most people watching, this probably just feels like a normal video. But if we keep our eyes peeled, we're going to see something that might keep you up at night. Did you see it? As everyone is singing, there's a shadowy figure of a little girl running by the grandmother. Some commenters felt that this could just be a party goer, someone's kid running past the camera. The camera isn't that old. I mean, this camera would have picked up a kid running by it. I mean, how fast is this kid? I guess it could be some glitch, but it wasn't until the uploader mentioned that the grandmother who's celebrating the birthday lost a young daughter about the age of the shadow person that ran by her. But this woman's daughter tragically passed away many years ago, and one of her favorite things to do was to chase her siblings all through this exact house. So while it's scary to us, family members have come out and said that there is a little comfort there. And well, I guess that's all that matters. This is a pretty cool clip. This guy avoids the shockwaves by jumping off his jet ski and going underwater. The meteor that literally turns the night into the daytime gets so bright. And then we just have a crab swimming, which we'll revisit at the end of this. I've seen this part. This is the forest breathing, they call it. This is actually really cool. It's not creepy to me, it's just cool. And this is, in my opinion, the creepiest thing. What in the heck? I mean, is that real? Does that thing have a... Is that real? Does that have one eyeball like a cyclops in the middle of its head? What in the world? And lastly, this is a pretty cool one. This osprey just dives down, completely submerges itself, and grabs a huge fish. Now, like I said, these are all pretty cool. And remember, I mentioned we'd revisit the crab. So, after going through all of the comments, they voted that the crab swimming was the creepiest. Apparently, 90% of the viewers of this have never been to the ocean or didn't know that crabs swam. I was a little blown away by that. I mean, all the comments were saying, oh, the crab swimming is the craziest, that's the creepiest. Holy cow, I didn't know crabs could swim. I guess for some that was a new nightmare that was unlocked. I don't know. Let me know if you guys were surprised by that, or maybe if you didn't know that crabs swam. Cryptic Rock is a fascinating and mysterious rock formation located about 50 kilometers east of Alice Springs in the Northern Territory of Australia. Made up of dolomite, this natural structure holds deep cultural and spiritual significance for the Eerie or Aboriginal people who consider it a sacred site. In 1959, something truly peculiar happened here. R.S. Blance, a Presbyterian minister from Adelaide, was visiting Cryptic Rock and decided to take a photograph of what he thought was an empty scene, just the rock surrounded by some shrubs and open space. A few weeks later, when he got back, he developed the photos. He was stunned to see the image of a figure standing amidst the scrub that bordered the clearing. As we can see, the figure appears to be a semi-transparent woman, wearing a long dress. While it's an image that has both fascinated and puzzled people for years and years, this is known in circles as a legit paranormal picture. Now, the area isn't just a geological wonder either, it's also of great importance to the indigenous communities living in the region. They actually consider the area around Cryptic Rock to be a dangerous place for women, children, and men who haven't undergone certain initiation rites. It's viewed as a sacred site that demands immense respect, which should go without saying. Climbing on the rock is strictly off limits. Now, back to the apparition. Do we think that R.S. Blance captured an actual photo of a woman? I know I do. I know a lot of other people do. I think that's good enough for me. Just an incredible photograph. Red captures. Let's not waste any time and get straight into the captures. A brand new TikTok video from a user named Old Fogey John has everyone on the app talking. He was out for a walk in the woods at night and caught something super creepy on camera. Check this out. There's this mysterious figure just showing up out of the dark. The spooky sighting has got a bunch of people thinking it might be a skinwalker, a shape-shifting bad news witch from Navajo stories. But as creepy as the video is, it's tough to tell if it's the real deal. Is this just some slick editing, or maybe a prank timed just right? Or maybe it is a skinwalker. No matter what it is, Old Fogey John's weird encounter has got TikTok users all fired up, debating and guessing about what he really saw. Let's start our own discussion. Let me know in the comments. Let's hash it out. Running into something weird and unexplainable while you're out and about can really shake you up. Like in this situation, when you catch something totally unexpected on video, it sticks with you. Now, it's pretty wild that these friends, they didn't even spot the figure at first. They only realized it was there when they looked back at the video a few days later. They decided to share their story as a heads up to bring awareness to other people that might be headed to the same area. Just a friendly reminder to keep your eyes peeled and to stay sharp, especially in places off the beaten path where you might bump into something unusual. Now, there are all sorts of guesses and theories about what they saw, but I'd love to know what you guys think. The road in this clip looks like it's heading to some new development or fresh construction, which sets the stage for this Bigfoot sighting that's got people talking. So someone caught this figure on camera and is claiming it's Bigfoot. But we've got to mull over a few things here. The video's kind of rough around the edges, and the creature was so far off when it was taken that it's really hard to make out. Plus, we're talking about a dash cam that took this video. They're solid for the road right in front of you, but not the best for picking up on distant, fuzzy figures. And honestly, the cam looks like someone's giving it a good shake on purpose. At first glance, I thought it was the ride just bumping along. But no, the truck's not even moving. Someone's just shaking the camera and zooming in. Trying to say for sure what's in the video without crystal clear proof is hard. We have to keep a sharp eye and think about every angle. Could this really be a Bigfoot? Maybe a case of mistaken identity, or someone just yanking our chain? To really nail down claims like this, you've got to dig deeper and come up with some solid backup evidence. What do you guys think about this? This next clip is a good one. Matt Doherty, a 43-year-old logistics manager, was just hanging at home watching TV with his buddy Kevin Barrett. His phone pinged him about some movement his doorbell camera picked up. Thinking it was just a random cat or maybe a mix-up with a delivery, Doherty was totally blown away by what he saw in the playback. The video caught this eerie, triangular UFO with 3 glowing spots just silently cruising across the night sky. It just smoothly sailed through the air and then vanished over the trees near his house. Wanting some answers, Doherty hit up his dad, who is big into aviation. After checking out flight trackers online, his dad confirmed that there weren't any planes around when this weird thing happened. With no easy explanation, Doherty and others are left scratching their heads, wondering if they just got a peek at something from another world. This spooky sighting is just one more to add to the growing list of weird stuff people have seen flying around. And it's got us all guessing what's really out there. This is a really crazy video. It's not like the typical linear lights that we've seen all throughout the year. I believe those are the Starlink satellites, but this looks different. Trail cams of spooky, unexplainable things are what this channel's all about. Check out as this mist-like apparition sneaks up on this deer. I mean, this really cranks up the mystery factor. The way it triggers the camera and then just pops up and vanishes is pretty crazy. But for me, it's the deer's freaked out reaction. We've been over this time and time again, but the animals in these videos never have any skin in the game. They're just acting to what's going on around them. But for a minute, let's think about what else it could be. Maybe it's just some fog, mist, or weird light playing tricks on the camera. Plus, animals like deer can get spooked by almost anything. So maybe that's why she looks so startled. Of course, how you see it might depend on what you believe as well. Some folks might swear it's something ghostly or otherworldly, while others are sure there's a logical explanation. Without more clues or info, figuring out what the ghostly figure really isn't that easy. Anyhow, I think it's a mysterious apparition that's been caught on camera. Caracas, Venezuela got hit with something totally bizarre on September 6th of 2023 during a massive storm. As the rain hammered down, so did some weird unexplainable stuff. And this stuff left everyone pretty stunned and curious. Dennis Guzman was one of the first to catch this spooky happening on camera. He posted a video on X showing what looks like a dark object zooming down from the sky. At first glance, it's tough to spot, but if you slow the video down, there it is. Something dark just falling through the air. Now, I guess this isn't too uncommon, but people who saw the video were all over the place with their guesses. Some thought it was just a raindrop sliding down the window, but a closer look shows the object falling behind a far-off skyscraper, and that kicked off a ton of online chatter. And just as everyone was getting all heated up in the debate, another video pops up from a different part of Caracas. Gene Tarantino, who didn't know about Guzman's post, captured something that looked a lot like what Guzman saw. Now, loads of folks getting ideas from sci-fi and old legends started throwing around alien theories. Maybe it's bits from a UFO or some alien gadget checking out Earth. Others guessed it might be satellite or space junk falling out of the sky, especially since Caracas is right under a bunch of satellite paths. Despite all the wild theories, no one's figured out what it was yet. Venezuelan authorities partnered with weather experts, and they are on the case. They are trying to make sense of that night's weirdness. Wow, that really is a crazy video. I don't know. I have so many questions about space, so I wouldn't even know where to begin. What do you guys think? This video is wild. You don't see a monitor lizard get snagged by a fishing hook every day. Now, these critters are pretty nosy and they often check out anything and everything around them. Most of the time they're thinking it's food or getting dazzled by anything shiny. This time it looks like the lizard thought the fishing hook was a tasty snack or just something cool to investigate. But whoops, got itself hooked. Now, I'd imagine that the person that set that hook was actually hoping to catch a big gator or crocodile. Luckily for the lizard, the fisherman stepped in and managed to set him free. But man, that surprise leap back into the water? Shoo! Coming across a fish sporting an extra eye is definitely not something you see every day. Usually stuff like this happens because of things in the environment like pollution or just random genetic mix-ups. It's kind of wild. It reminds me of the three-eyed fish from The Simpsons. But the real deal behind these weird mutations has more to do with what's happening in our waters because of human stuff than any TV show. It's a real wake-up call about how much our actions can mess with nature's balance. Sticking to the weird nature theme, have you seen this two-headed catfish? A super rare and mind-blowing find. These kinds of things aren't everyday occurrences, and usually happened, as I mentioned before, because of some genetic glitch while the critter is growing up. I can't imagine living with two heads is very easy, struggling to get around, find food. Nevertheless, this is an amazing find by these guys. Get out and do some exploring this year. In early October, Reddit turned into a hotbed for crazy ideas, all because of one strange post. This all started with an odd sighting on Plane Finder, a popular UK-based flight tracking service known for its detailed flight info, like speed, height, where the plane's headed, and flight numbers. Since 2009, Plane Finder's been a go-to for plane buffs and pros. But this recent event has everyone, even the hardcore fans, totally baffled. An unknown plane was spotted zooming over France at a wild speed of Mach 14, way up at 70,000 feet. Now, just for some reference, Mach 1 is the speed of sound, about 767 miles per hour. So Mach 14 is like over 10,700 miles per hour. Now imagine at normal driving speed, this thing could shoot from New York to Los Angeles in under 15 minutes. Obviously that's crazy fast, especially compared to the fastest commercial planes like the Concorde, which tops out at just over Mach 2. The 70,000 feet altitude is also a big deal, usually only the playground for specialized spy planes, while most airliners hang out between 30,000 and 40,000 feet. Redditors, as we know, are always up for a mystery. They dove in with all sorts of theories. Were aliens doing a quick Earth drive-by? Was it some super secret military test craft? Or maybe just a hacker messing with Plane Finder's data? Despite all the wild guesses and the buzz, the real story behind the super fast, high-flying mystery remains unknown. So far, there's been no official word from plane finder, aviation gurus, or the authorities about what that aircraft was. The thought of dinosaurs roaming around with us these days is awesome and captivating. But we've got to keep our feet on the ground about this type of stuff. While science has done an awesome job of showing us dinosaur life through fossils and studies, unfortunately there's no real proof that any are still hanging out with us today. I've seen some crazy dinosaur videos, and most of those videos or pictures claiming that there are dinosaurs still walking are just hoaxes or someone's imaginative story. But still, picturing ourselves living alongside these massive ancient beasts fires up the imagination and gets me all curious. So down the rabbit hole I go. And I'll say this, if there are dinosaurs still on this earth, I'm going to say that they either have wings or they live in the deep depths of the ocean. What do you guys think? This clip is super interesting. Way out in South Africa, about 300 kilometers from Johannesburg, there's this wild rock formation. On a big granite cliff, there's a huge footprint that's 1.2 meters from heel to toe. The area it was found, right by Swaziland, is known for its mysteries. But this find really gets people talking. Michael Tellinger, a well-known South African politician and explorer, filmed himself checking out this so-called giant's footprint. He figures whatever made this has to be massive, like 7 to 7.5 meters tall. Even Tellinger, who's super into this, admits it's hard to explain. The idea of a giant walking through molten granite deep underground is pretty out there. But he has a theory. He thinks ancient giants, maybe doing some mining, stepped into wet granite dust, which then hardened and kept the footprint shape. Over time, Earth movements could have flipped this originally flat footprint up to its current vertical spot. And now this gets even more interesting when you look at the science. The footprint is in the Impaloozi batholith, which is a super old rock formation about 3 billion years old. Now, with something this ancient and weird, you can't help but wonder what made it. There are legendary giants mentioned in the Bible and other ancient stories described as huge, powerful beings. Could this footprint be a leftover from those giants? Now, while some of these stories are wrapped up in myth and religion, the footprint is real. Is it just a strange rock shape, or could it actually be a sign of ancient giants? As folks keep studying this footprint and its story, it sure keeps our imaginations going, thinking about all of the wild stuff that might have happened on Earth billions of years ago. As for me, I'm all in on the giants. That is definitely a giant footprint. I don't even want to explore any other avenues. The thought of the Tasmanian tiger popping back up after being extinct is super intriguing. But getting solid proof that these guys are still around has been pretty tricky, and scientists haven't given the green light on any evidence saying they're back for sure. But this wild pic from the Australian outback in 2019 has everyone doing a double take. One random day, this guy is out for a hike, and up on the hilltop he spots this creature. It's bigger than a fox, but he can't quite recognize it. It has a long, bigger than average tail, and people are buzzing, wondering if this fuzzy photo is actually the Tasmanian tiger. And yes, like I said, the picture is a bit fuzzy, but you can't help think of those old school pictures of the Tasmanian tiger, or the thylacine as scientists call it. It's common knowledge that the thylacine has been marked extinct for a while. There have been sightings, but no solid proof or credible evidence. So I'm thinking that this probably isn't a back from the dead moment for our friend here. It could just be the shadows playing tricks. This is most likely an animal that we already know. But a fun fact, these critters had a pouch that opened backwards, kind of like a kangaroo. Just one more thing that makes them fascinating. A YouTuber by the name of James Jones was wandering through an eerie forest when he bumped into something pretty weird. In this spooky video, Jones shows what looks like a dark figure just hanging out amongst the trees. The figure was wearing a hat that seems like it's straight out of an old military movie. Now, some viewers are just shrugging it off as a weird-looking tree shadow. But if you look closer, this thing is way darker and more person-shaped than the surrounding trees. Plus, it's just standing there dead still, which is enough to give anyone the creeps. But that could also prove that it is just a tree. Do we think this could actually be one of those legendary ghost soldiers people have been talking about lately? What's your take? Now, we've all seen rams literally ramming and headbutting each other all over the internet. It's pretty incredible to watch. During headbutting, rams will run at each other and collide head-on, pushing and shoving with their horns and bodies. The force of the impact can be quite powerful and is used to establish dominance and determine which male is stronger and more fit to mate with the females. Headbutting can also be used to defend territory and resources, such as food and water. Now, I wish I knew where this video was taken, where these two animals would meet in the wild. Anyhow, look at the big buck, surrounded by these does seemingly minding his own business. When this ram takes off and headbutts him, the buck reacts and, well, it quickly takes a turn the ram most likely didn't foresee. Mr. Buck decides to escort him out of his general vicinity, so to speak. Rather quickly and uncomfortably, I might add. We didn't need to see much to realize who had the upper hand in this encounter. And if you watch to the end, in the background you can notice some feed stations, which makes me think this was most likely about food. A British Columbia community off northern Vancouver is wondering if the strange noises they're hearing are from a Sasquatch. Residents of the island say they've been hearing strange screams and howls from the forest, mostly at night. And almost all of the community is convinced there's something out there. Here are the noises that have been captured.
It's an eerie recording captured on a cell phone of something that's making strange howling noises heard throughout Alert Bay.
We heard it once, and I didn't get the recording, and then second time I got the recording, and that's I was on the back porch. Very eerie.
This audio was recently recorded on the backside of Cormorant Island. One particular resident has heard it at least 3 times, once during the day and the other 2 at night. Some disbelievers have said that it's just a dog, but almost everyone attests that it's impossible for a dog to make this type of noise. And while in most places it would be easy to shrug this off as wildlife noises or peculiar mating sounds, keep in mind that Cormorant Island has no wildlife. No mountain lions, no bears, not even deer. And even if you choose to shoo away the sounds, there have also been multiple sightings of this Sasquatch. A lady whose father still lives on the island came back to pay respects to a loved one. And as she approached the cemetery, she saw the creature. She was so spooked that she didn't stay. Not only that, she left the island altogether. A more recent sighting happened when a group of teens were playing soccer. They saw a large creature moving against a building in what took only a few strides. The original uploader of this video goes into greater detail, so you should check that out. But before that, let me know what you guys think. I don't know what to think. I'm not really sure how to process the strange noises, seeing as the island doesn't have any wildlife. If it's not a Sasquatch, and it's not a mountain lion, to get those noises, would it have to be a hoax? Someone playing something over a loudspeaker? I just don't know. But I will say this. Many on that island seemed convinced they're up against a Bigfoot. In this clip, a guy was just walking by in a park when he captured this incredible scene. Admittedly, I couldn't tell what was going on when the video started. I could see a duck with his head underwater, most likely hunting, but that's all I could tell. After not coming up for what felt like a few minutes, the man filming splashed some water on the duck, and then he noticed a huge toad had clamped down onto the duck's beak and entire face. The duck was about to drown. The man reached down and pulled them ashore and plucked the overzealous toad off the duck's face. Wow, that is just crazy. He practically had his whole head in his mouth. We see as the duck casually swims away, and the man lets the frog go. I'd be interested if anyone has any insight into this. I'm sure there are frogs big enough to take down a bird. However, in this video, it's almost like the frog got the duck and didn't know what to do with him. Like, uh-oh, I'm just going to hold on for dear life. Anyhow, I'm glad the Good Samaritan could help the duck out. An incredible mountain lion hunt caught on camera here. Taking place in Chile's Torres del Paine National Park, some type of goose or bird is caught by this agile lion. Look at that jump. So athletic. The lion made that look much easier than it should have been, and she's able to carry it off for a small meal. Of course, these apex predators are looking for a little more meat, but when they see an easy mark or times get tough, they'll take anything. Staying with the mountain lion theme, here's a cool clip taken from a hunter in a tree stand. The hunter has placed a buck decoy in this grassy area, trying to lure some game in. Well, it worked, except this isn't what he was looking for. Watch as the lion sneaks up behind the decoy. He has to be thinking, this is the easiest meal I'm ever going to have. Just a great thing to catch on camera. In this next similar scene, a trail camera captures the moment a lion has come face to face with a decoy. He's had enough of this and goes on the attack. If you look closely, you can see one of the antlers of the decoy is missing. I'm beginning to wonder if these two have met before. This interaction looks like there might be some unfinished business between these two. Anyhow, great camera footage. The concept of the video doorbell was initially introduced in 2013. Since its mass production, users like Redditor Love Crystals from Dallas, Texas, have been capturing unusual sightings on their doorbell footage. These cameras have been able to capture more than just human intruders. In this particular footage, the camera was positioned on top of the user's garage. The video shows a driveway and a parked car outside the user's house at night. Although it is not uncommon for these cameras to record mysterious videos of people passing by or animals, this footage captured something very peculiar. The driveway near the parked car shows two small bipedal creatures wandering around for several seconds. When they approach the car, we can see that they are around the same height as the tires, which is most likely between 15 to 22 inches. The creatures have an unusual shape with extremely small legs that cause them to waddle as they explore the driveway. Due to being entirely in the shadows, it is impossible to distinguish any specific features. Viewers on Reddit have speculated that the creatures could be something as simple as large birds or even owls. However, some are uncertain about this suggestion. It is uncommon to witness such large birds walking on the ground for such a long time. Others believe that the creatures could be a type of cryptid, perhaps resembling a gnome or garden gnome that has come to life. Without additional footage or sightings, it is pretty challenging to determine what these unusual creatures might be. Let's hope that this Redditor security camera will capture more mysterious videos of these guys in the future. What do you all think these creatures could be? I'm at a loss. Although the one commenter that said they were owls, I could see that, I think. Anyhow, let me know in the comments what you think. I'm interested to hear. This encounter, taken in Alaska, is insane. A dog sledder and her team, along with a cameraman, are out shooting some footage in the wilderness. All of a sudden, the dogs come to a stop, only to be faced by a big moose. None of the dogs sustained any injuries, but I'm just going to let the video play with volume so you can hear the chaos.
Oh, I don't want this slow to go.
A home security camera caught the moment a hawk tried to dive bomb an unsuspecting hen in a backyard. As you can see, the hawk swoops in and corrals the hen. However, there's a brave rooster that is saying, "Not on my watch, pal." Okay, so to better distinguish who is who through all the feathers flying, the hen is the white one and her knight in shining armor is the black rooster. After the initial skirmish, the hawk rests on top of the fence line to rethink his attack. The hawk drops in for round 2 when he thinks Mr. Rooster has left the area. However, Rooster hears the commotion and runs to protect the hen again. This time he pins the hawk up against the coop. I'm thinking the hawk learned his lesson. However, this is a pretty common tactic amongst these birds of prey, trying to pick off vulnerable, confined birds or animals. A few videos back, we saw a similar attack with a similar result. That time, the hawk tried to escape and got pinned down inside the hen house. A home security camera captured this footage of a few deer enjoying a late night drink. You can see the deer just doing what deer do. After a few seconds of video, you can see the deer in the forefront perk her head up. She senses, and most likely smells, something is coming their way. As she takes off, that's the signal for her friend to follow suit. And before we can even see what they're escaping from, they're gone. Now, as the camera zooms in, what I think is most impressive is that I cut out about 45 seconds of this video. So very early on, the deer sensed that this predator was nearby. He hadn't even come into camera view. And look at this. Here comes this big guy lumbering out of the small wooded area in the background. Mr. Bear is about a minute too late. Another thing to note is you can see the lights of the houses in the background. Kinda scary that he's just making his rounds through the neighborhood. Here's another piece of the video of him coming around the house. He's a big old boy. He eventually leaves not too far away from the way he came. Man, this is pretty scary footage, but it's helpful to know what you have creeping around your house, day or night. Amazing footage here from a couple just trying to steal away a few minutes of relaxation on their back deck. Out of nowhere, they see a bald eagle swimming directly for their backyard. They thought at first he might be hurt, but when he got to shore, you can see what he has, I think, is a big carp in tow. That guy is massive in size compared to the eagle. The couple that filmed the encounter said the eagle gorged himself on the fish for hours, stashed it in an overhanging bush, and came back the next day to finish it off. Just a great camera capture. Now this is a feel-good story here. Video here of a man playing with his dogs while camping. 3 dogs just roughhousing out in the water fetching a stick. You can see one of the labs gets the first stick his owner threw. Then the man launches another one to the right. The camera focuses in on the dog swimming in with the stick. And almost immediately, to me, it looks like he's struggling to keep his head above water. But then when he gets closer, you can notice he's abandoned the stick, and he's just trying to make it to shore. But suddenly he goes under, and his owner sprints out into the water and pulls him up. The man is fully clothed and struggles to grasp the pup. A friend comes to help out and they get the dog on land. And thank God the pup makes a full recovery and is just fine to this day. Man, I don't know about you guys, but my dog is family to me, so I don't blame the man for jumping in for the rescue. Fully clothed, phone in pocket, whatever it takes. I sensed something was wrong when the dog ditched the stick. Anyhow, great job paying attention to your surroundings by the owner. Just a rather strange video here, as we see this cat is holding a small bunny prisoner. Eventually the cat leaps up to an overhanging porch with the bunny gently in its mouth. As the cat takes his eye off his playmate, the bunny sees his chance and slips through the bars and flies down to the ground. He takes off across the green grass as the cat finally notices and takes pursuit. And just when it looks like the bunny might get away, you've got to be kidding me. A hawk swoops by and snatches up the very, very unlucky bunny. Man, what a crazy turn of events, and it's very easy to see why having a bird's eye view lends such an advantage. A photo taken in an undisclosed location in the US shows a strange shape floating in the dark. It looks like the upper part of a person's body and head, but the lower half disappears like mist. It appeared then disappeared after a few seconds, and it has since made the property owner feel very uneasy when walking in that area. This particular photo has sparked a debate among believers and skeptics about whether it is proof of the supernatural. Stories about ghosts and shadowy figures have been told for centuries, and some people think they are real while others don't. Photos like this exact type of mystery and intrigue of the unknown, attract many to investigate the paranormal. Even though we may not be able to explain the figure in the photo, it reminds me that there are still unexplained things in this world that fascinate us. A surreal scene here as we see a flock of birds hovering over this house before dive bombing the home through the chimney. Located in California, 1,500 plus birds flew into a man's house who said that this was the most unimaginable thing he's ever been a part of. He had no idea what was happening. The noise, the waste they left behind, just sheer chaos. All in all, it took 3 entire days to remove all of the birds manually. In this last little clip, you can see he was able to use a fireplace screen to block, he estimates, another 1,000 birds from entering the home. Good, quick thinking, but what an absolute disaster. Man, I'd love to know why they did that. This next recording took place at Clingman's Dome, the highest peak in Tennessee's Smoky Mountains. According to the narrator, while strolling along a path, they noticed a group of individuals gazing up at the trees. They appeared to have spotted what resembled a bear, but this bear was standing upright on 2 legs and never dropped down to all 4s. Due to the creature's size, many were convinced that it was a genuine Bigfoot sighting. The video doesn't give definitive evidence to what the creature could be, but if you listen to the audio, you hear a few of them say, "That's a Bigfoot." I will say I'm a little surprised at how calm they all are. And if it was just a bear, I feel like that many people wouldn't be stopped on the side of a trail just watching. And then again, if it is a bear, they might be a little too close. He could close that short distance in no time. Maybe they're planning on playing a little game of, I don't have to be the fastest, I just have to be faster than the slowest. Anyhow, great capture, and this definitely seems to be one of the more credible videos that I've seen. Let me know your thoughts. This is an incredible video here.
A man says an alligator, which he had never seen before, made its way through a courtyard, but got stopped. Very briefly stopped by this black metal fence. Just look at this. Look at the power. I don't even really know what to say. Let's watch it again. The man helps him out the rest of the way. Do we have any viewers in here that live near alligators? And if so, have you ever seen anything like this? Animal Wiki uploaded a peculiar TikTok video allegedly filmed in a rural mountain range in Japan. In the clip, a small dragon-like creature can be seen swimming in a stream. While some viewers dismiss it as a hoax, it looks rather real, and it's fascinating how dragons are embedded in the mythology of various cultures worldwide. Dragons have been believed in some shape or form by civilizations across the globe for thousands of years. In Europe, dragons were known for their massive size and fire-breathing abilities, while in ancient China, they were revered for their control over the weather and supposedly guarded heaven and earth against outside forces. Perhaps there is some truth to these legends. Ultimately, I'll let you decide. One of the most surprising sightings that you could capture on a trail camera was possibly captured by this one. Instead of the usual animals or nocturnal creatures, a decent amount of fully armed soldiers carrying automatic rifles were spotted walking through the forest, and this trail camera caught it. This seems pretty suspicious to me. Maybe they're sneaking up through the woods to surprise a drug operation. Another commenter mentioned that they were there for training. Seems a little too close for comfort, seeing as this man has a trail camera on what I'm assuming is his property. Anyhow, thank goodness it was daylight, otherwise it really would have been a startling scene. This clip right here is just a cool capture. A horse grazing his field when a wild boar shows up. The boar is kind of sniffing around, but he seems like he wants to mix it up a little bit. The horse tries to defuse the situation by walking away, but the boar wants the action. As the pig gets a running start, he lunges for the horse's tail, and she bucks her back legs and hooves, catching the boar with a body shot, and he takes off. Probably a little out of breath, but he should be lucky he didn't catch one of those kicks to the head. Countless individuals across the globe enjoy taking walks in their nearby forests, not only for the physical activity, but also for the unpredictability of what they may encounter during different seasons. One such man, James Rankin, is a resident of Long Island who likes to go on hikes. However, his usual routine was disrupted in October of 2016 when he stumbled upon a clearing in Berkeley-Jackson County Park, located in Huntington, New York. To his surprise, he noticed over a dozen missing person posters attached to the surrounding trees, all of which were real cases from the New York area and recently printed and laminated for protection. The majority of these posters were of women, with a few men as well. To add to the eerie scene, there appeared to be a shrine made of carefully placed twigs at the center of the clearing. James, fearing that he might have uncovered a serial killer's hideout or something even worse, he notified the local police department. It was then, and only then, that he learned the truth behind what he had seen. The posters in the clearing were part of preparations for an upcoming Halloween party. What? And after a few weeks, everything was taken down and removed. Despite knowing the reality, Rankin still has found it challenging to continue his walks with the same sense of adventure. He's slightly anxious about what he may encounter around each corner. Yeah, I don't blame you, James. This is pretty creepy. I mean, that is strange. I like parties as much as the next guy, but I don't want anything to do with that Halloween party. I mean, whoever thought of that has some issues. Anyhow, let me know in the comments, are you going to this party or are you going to sit this one out? In June of 2021, TikTok user Claxatax uploaded the following piece of footage, and it's been freaking viewers out ever since. Check this out. From what is visible, there appears to be a large, two-legged being moving at a leisurely pace across the property of the man in the video. As you can see, the video also shows their pet dog intently observing the figure from afar. No one has been able to provide an explanation for the sighting, leaving those who watched it wondering whether the entity was an intruder or something of a more mystical nature. A few days later, Claxatax posted another video updating regarding the sighting. He has no idea what this could have been. Some commenters said a ghost, a wendigo, or the most popular comment was that it was a skinwalker. Let me know your theories. All I know is that it's pretty creepy. The man seems to be tucked back there pretty nicely in a desolate piece of property. On March 23, 2023, a video clip was uploaded to TikTok by a user named Moto Owens. Moto is known for sharing videos of himself riding his dirt bike through wooded trails. Despite frequently riding through this area, he had never come across anything unusual until that day. As he was traveling along the path, he rode up on some scattered bones, which was pretty unsettling. He didn't stop to look, but it's unclear whether the bones are from an animal or a human. Despite the bones, Owens continued along the trail until he encountered a fallen tree that was blocking his path. He got off his bike to move the tree, and at that moment, something pretty terrifying occurred. The voice sounds like it could be from a person, but it's not quite high enough to hear. You might need to slow it down a little bit or turn your speakers up really loud. Moto doesn't stick around to find out. Commenters on the TikTok thought it could be a mountain lion or even a skinwalker shape-shifting and trying to lure him into the woods. Yeah, I think it's a good idea that he left. Let me know what you all think this could have been. A cool sight here as we see a bird of prey trying to dive bomb and snatch up a kangaroo, which when I say it out loud seems pretty weird. Experts suggest that the birds may perceive the prey below to be much smaller than it really is when they are in flight above. Some of them make contact with the large prey before realizing it is much bigger than they were expecting. The kangaroo wasn't harmed. Rest assured, he can surely defend himself from these birds. I wasn't sure if this first attack was a one-off, but then I found this video. Watch as this trail camera picks up the moment a bird of prey swooped in after this kangaroo, initiating contact and a little scuffle ensues. The kangaroo is able to break free, and I'm sure the bird realized that this wasn't worth the hassle. Anyhow, this is definitely new to me. I hadn't seen any of these yet. This footage here captures a moose staring directly into a trail camera. However, the frightening aspect of this video is what appears in the background, behind the trees. A set of glowing eyes is visible, appearing to stalk the moose. These eyes move from one side of the screen to the other, at the height of a person. By the end of the clip, the moose appears to have noticed this presence. But the question remains, what is this? Is there really something stalking this moose? Could it be a wolf? Maybe a mountain lion? Or something even more unusual? This trail camera watching this mother falcon in her nest captures the moment a sneaky marten gets to the nest and robs it of its eggs. One by one, this sneaky little devil pulls them out of there. Perhaps the more fascinating part of the video is that it appears the marten arrives almost immediately after the falcon leaves. Now, I looked to see if the video was edited there, like maybe he didn't show up that quickly, but I can't tell. If it's not, that marten is incredibly stealthy, and it would mean that he was practically hiding directly under the branch or whatever structure this nest was on, undetected. Nature is cruel and incredible. No better way to kick this video off than with an absolute behemoth mountain lion clutching this tree on his way down. I mean, look at the muscles in the shoulders and back of this thing. Just lean, pure muscle. In his lower arm, you can see a vein pushing through his fur. This guy is jacked. This photo was taken 2 years ago in Nevada by Reddit user Former Fruit. Now tell me, what's your game plan if this guy is shimmying down a tree in your direction? I don't know what mine is, but I can tell you what it isn't, and that's to stick around and take a picture. This is just amazing footage right here. A trio of falconers have attached a tiny camera to some of their falcons to give us an up-close look into what it looks like during a falcon hunt. It is just unreal. Check this out. The crows that they are hunting are highly intelligent and will find various ways to destroy farmers' crops. So, hunting with falcons is considered a traditional and effective method of pest control. It helps to keep their numbers in check and prevents damage to crops and other property. Just incredible. Here are some still images of the hunt. This next clip is from a biker with a GoPro attached to his helmet. As we watch, everything seems fine until he hits this narrow-walled path and boom, out of nowhere, something jumps in front of him. Scares the bejesus out of him, almost causing him to wreck. He stops and looks back, but whatever it is gone. When we slow down the footage, it definitely looks like it could be a monkey. But the biker says no way that was just a monkey. According to him, it had gray skin, so if anything, it was a dog-monkey combo. So what do you guys think? Was it just a monkey and the biker got spooked for nothing? Or is it something else entirely? We may never know. However, let me know your thoughts. Okay, so this next video clip is awesome. Footage taken in Alberta, Canada, right next to an oil drilling crew and its setup. One day, a member of the crew spots a dark figure off in the distance on a tree line, so he grabs his phone. And the next thing he knows, out of nowhere, he sees a tree being thrown by said figure. Now, no one has been able to determine what this creature is. And ultimately, it got sent to Thinker Thunker, a very popular YouTube channel. And Thinker Thunker first says he's not here to rule on what this is. But he also quickly points out that whatever in the world this is, it has superhuman strength. Some viewers have even said that the tree is fake, but he goes on to explore the dimensions of the tree and the weight, and is able to determine that the tree being thrown is at least 4 meters long, or 12 feet, and weighs 50 pounds. And he places a lot of emphasis on these being very, very conservative figures. He even offers up a rebuttal for those that say the tree is fake. He explains that sometimes our mind sees things so incomprehensible that it won't even register in our minds. Thinker Thunker dives into if this is a fake tree, and so be it. Maybe it's PVC pipe, a movie prop, paper mache, or some other material. However, whatever it is, it's still heavy, and it still got thrown a good distance from the tree line by something. And as I mentioned, he's adamant about not trying to determine what this creature is. He's left that to everyone else. Man, I hope you guys look this video up because he goes in depth. It is super, super interesting, and this is just a small clip. But I have to say, I pretty much agree with them. Something through this. And for me, the way it lands is key. The tree looks dead weight. It doesn't rattle or bounce and slowly hit the ground. It looks exactly the way a tree would look hitting the ground. Man, I would love to know everyone's thoughts on this, and if there's any more information on it, please let me know. This next clip contains yet another strange, unrecognizable creature, this time caught on outdoor security footage. As you can see, a small hairy creature is wandering around this back patio. The original uploader described it as scurrying around on two little legs super quick. As you can see, the critter's body is covered in fur, but from this vantage point, there don't seem to be any arms. To be honest, it's more interesting than scary, seeing this little ball of fluff walking around. But I'm also curious to know exactly what it is. Personally, I think it's an animal on 4 legs versus 2 legs, which makes it more reasonable. Nevertheless, good footage. If anyone has any more info, let me know in the comments. Here we have an old National Geographic video, and supposedly it shows a sighting of Bigfoot in eastern Russia. A few kids recorded it on their phone, so the quality isn't great. In the clip, you can see the kids playing in the snow, but they notice some big footprints and decide to follow them. They stop near a group of trees because they see something moving in the distance. At first, like everyone, they think it might be a bear. But as they look closer, they realize it could be a tall, hairy humanoid creature. The wild part is that the creature notices them too, and immediately darts away deeper into the forest. The kids were interviewed and later described the creature's face as white and hairless, opposite of the rest of its body. So what do we think? Did these kids really see Bigfoot, or was it something else? This is an odd occurrence here. Witnessed by Washington locals nearly a year ago, numerous fish were filmed crossing the road, and the whole town was abuzz. For those without much experience around the water, they thought these fish had gone crazy. But the salmon were crossing the road from a field that they had been washed into due to their original home, the river, flooding. Although this is a rare sight, some old-timers in town said they had seen this happen at least once before. And another townsperson commented on the original upload said that some Good Samaritan passerbys stopped and helped a lot of the fish over the road. Pretty cool. Let me know if you guys have seen anything similar. Most people think that werewolves only show up when the moon is full, but that's not always true apparently. About 3 years ago, a man in Brazil said he spotted one almost in his backyard. And he says he has proof that the beast was hiding right behind his fence, and he says it came out of the forest from behind his house. The man was able to film it and said the werewolf tried to attack him. Fortunately, the guy lived to tell the tale, but he wasn't able to catch very good footage before it disappeared into the night. What are your thoughts on this one? Our next clip shows a guy who set out one day and wanted to take some awesome nature pics. And he also thought it would be cool to see it from his dog's point of view. So he rigged up a camera on his dog's collar and they went off into the woods. A half a mile or so onto the trail, the dog's camera picked up a big, 2-legged creature walking in front of them. The man said he didn't know it until he got home and reviewed the footage. Again, some people said it was a bear, but bears usually stand their ground, at least briefly. They don't immediately run and hide. So once again, this brings up the idea of Bigfoot. You can definitely see the creatures walking on two legs. What do you guys think? Personally, I'm a little skeptical. It might be a fake. I don't like saying that, but there's something suspicious about it. Pretty creepy video here from Reddit user Falco Darkblade. I think I saw that this was taken in Afghanistan, but don't quote me on that. Anyhow, as we watch, this man is going to crouch down near this rock. And very briefly, we're going to see a creature's face and eyes. He's shining his flashlight. He'll eventually zoom in and shine it into this crevice. You have to be looking intently because it happens fast. Let me know in the comments what you think this is. Most people are just saying that it's an owl. And unfortunately, I think they might be right. But if I stumbled on that thing at night, I'd be scared too. This next trail camera capture came from Redditor 37. I'm just going to paraphrase what she had written. Taken at night, we found this pic from our trail camera we had set up by an old farm field of ours. We don't know, and nobody else seems to know what it is. And honestly, it's freaking us out. The cam only takes pics when it detects motion, and it was dark out, so it's not a bug or some other debris caught in the light. Also, there aren't many bugs around because of the hard freezes. We're in a remote area, so no car or people with flashlights are around. And no air traffic either, so it can't be a helicopter light. The weather was windy and rainy, but no lightning according to my lightning alert app. By the way, we're in northern New York, close to Canada. The next day, my hubby went to check it out, but he didn't see anything weird. Our first guess was that it could have been a meteorite, but we quickly crossed that off the list. Some people are saying it's ghosts or aliens, but we need some real answers. Personally, I think it could be ball lightning, but I think normal lightning detection would have picked that up. I just don't know. Can y'all help us solve this mystery? Alright, well those are definitely an interesting few pictures they have. It would be really cool if there was proof it was an alien beaming down light from a UFO. Lightning is probably the most reasonable possibility, but in the last photo with their husband walking the area, it doesn't seem like the ball or beam of light left any impression on the ground. I don't know enough about this topic to really speak on it, so let me know what you guys think about this. A man was out hiking in a big national park in the United States, and while he was walking on one of the trails, he stumbled upon something that took his breath away. Luckily, he had his camera with him, so he decided to take a picture of it. What he saw was the remains of an animal that he couldn't identify. Now, I warn you, it might be kinda disturbing to some people. Since he's posted it, the picture has gone crazy on the internet, and lots of folks have been trying to guess what it could be. A lot of people have theories, but nobody knows for sure. Some people are saying it's just the skull of a bear, but what do you personally think? To me, this looks like a dogman skull. The lower jaw protruding out kind of makes it look like a gorilla as well. I would say the consensus is saying that it's a bear skull, and I can definitely see the resemblance. If it's a bear, I guess he's missing his snout. It's not in the picture. And the snout being ripped off, but the top row of teeth being there is odd. Man, I don't know. I'd be interested if anyone is 100% positive on what this is. This footage was taken in a location described as a Bigfoot hotbed. So when this trail cam owner got a look at this creature and its wiry hair up close on his trail camera, his heart rate skyrocketed. You can see whatever it is using its giant paws to try and pull the trail camera down, potentially not wanting to be seen. But once the creature slows down and takes a step back, we can see that it is just a curious bear. However, he is intent on pulling this down. All of a sudden, the video goes dark, and it seems Mr. Bear is victorious. This trail cam here, installed in Japan, shows that it too was dealing with some sort of creature trying to dislodge it. All we can see is the hair and whiskers of a creature that eventually turns out to be a wild boar. This guy is trying hard, and if you need any more proof of what kind of animal this is, you can notice his little pigtail wagging. By now, I'm sure we all know how relentless these animals are, and he is bound and determined to break this camera off this structure. Unlike the camera in the last clip, this guy was able to hold on for dear life. Last year in the forests of Canada, a farmer attached a trail camera to a tree hoping to catch some good footage. Well, he got what he came for. A nice-sized buck in rut is caught on camera scraping the tree. Really cool to see his antlers fly in and out of frame. It's unclear whether the flash of the camera annoyed him or if he was just scraping his antlers. Caught in an adjacent trail camera, we see a buck wallowing in a mud hole, using his antlers to dig it out. Deer and elk and others will use a wallow to keep cool on hot days, and also to help keep off ticks and other parasites. Either or, this is a great capture. Filmed somewhere in southern Florida, this is just an awesome trail cam video of a monstrous gator up close and personal. His eye shine makes him look super creepy, and it appears he is heading right for the camera until he ultimately passes it by. Not an animal you want to run into ever. Honestly, I'd have a hard time going back in daylight to retrieve this camera. What say you guys? The last trail cam photo in our in-video compilation is that of a gray wolf, peering intently into the camera. This footage captured in northeastern Washington shows the wild wolf at someone's campsite and very interested in this camera. The next shot, we see the inside of the wolf's mouth as he attempts to chew it from its straps. The wolf was actually successful in pulling it off, but the owner was able to recover it only about a football field away, with only minor damage. Our last photo here is from Redditor Mamma Mia. While I will always try to give priority to trail camera videos and wildlife footage, I stumbled upon this in my searching and added it in just because I think it's really cool. It looks like she's using an old box camera, and many commenters are saying that this is quite possibly the first mirror selfie ever taken. I don't know about that, but I found it pretty cool. Thank you guys for watching. This incredible video showcases an epic battle between some wolves and a giant black bear. The wolves have a den nearby and they're protecting their precious little pups. The pups are only a few weeks old, but the powerful pack instinct of the wolves to keep them safe is on full display. Despite the bear's imposing size, it realizes that it's not worth it to go against this fiercely protective family. This was a great camera capture. It's actually shot from multiple angles, so you can capture the full viewing experience. This is a pretty crazy video here. A hawk has dive-bombed a makeshift chicken coop looking to score an easy meal. After things don't go as planned, the hawk tries to abort the mission, but he's stuck. He can't seem to get out of the enclosure, and the roosters are on him. They're determined to make him pay. They chase him into the hen house where they ultimately go out of camera view. Man, those roosters were not intimidated at all. I really wonder what the end result of this was. A person exploring the forest of Amherst took a video, and it was a little disturbing. They walked upon a structure made of branches in the middle of the forest. At first glance, one might think it was made by kids playing, or even just a person seeking shelter for the night. However, upon closer inspection, the person recording the video noticed small twigs tied up in different formations, as if someone had been trying to create strange symbols. What do you guys make of these? I don't know enough about them to know if they're satanic, but what's even scarier is at the end of the video. The recording captures someone running away in the woods. Of course, the recorder didn't pursue them. Anyhow, the rumor has it that Amherst has a history of rituals and strange sightings. What do you guys think? In this scene, a female elk bravely defends her calf against a pack of wolves in the water. The pack of wolves are using cunning tactics to engage in a struggle with the female elk. To avoid the wolf pack, the mama elk takes the initiative and jumps into the river with her calf. At first, the female elk relies on her size and strength, not necessarily taking the wolf pack seriously. Although she doesn't have the large antlers of a male elk, her powerful limbs are also effective weapons. A kick from her could cause a lot of damage and even be fatal. While she's trying to fend them off and protect herself, her most important priority is keeping her calf safe, who is the true target of the wolf pack. At this point, the wolf pack has begun to wade into the water towards the elk and her calf. The mother elk takes the attack to the wolf pack to protect her calf. The wolf pack begins to use their tactics on the elk. Their strategy of retreating when the enemy advances and attacking when the enemy is vulnerable. They constantly harass and pursue her. Through years of hunting experience, the pack's coordination is impressive. You can see as they take turns attacking, not giving the mama elk any chance to catch her breath. She's becoming exhausted. Her physical and mental strength are draining. She even forgets about her calf for a moment. Seizing the opportunity, the wolf pack pounces on the calf, ready to bite. Fortunately, at the last minute, the female elk steps in. Although the wolf pack has strength in numbers, and that's a big advantage, they still do not dare confront the female elk head on. No one wants to be kicked by her. But they also cannot give up their prey. They adjust their strategy once again. We can see the female elk is infuriated and launches a powerful attack on the wolf pack, causing them to scatter. However, blinded by this rage, she makes a huge mistake while driving away the wolf pack. Her calf cannot keep up with her footsteps, and the wolf pack sees an opportunity to attack. And wave after wave of wolves keep coming. The female elk has no time to rest. Facing such organized and disciplined, strong, wild wolves, it is almost impossible to escape. Finally, the wolf pack sees the opportunity and takes the calf. The mother wants to rescue her child, but she's missed the best time. She can only watch as her calf is dragged ashore by the wolf pack. Another harsh, cruel reality of the animal kingdom. I stumbled upon this video and read the comments, and a few viewers I encountered thought this was pretty funny. However, I have a feeling the Wolverine didn't see it that way. A man living out in the wild in Russia caught this video of a wolverine with a bucket on its head being chased by a hungry wolf. Now, I've shown some videos recently of wolverines, and I think we can all agree they are nothing to mess with. But the wolf just can't help himself. He sees that the wolverine is at a distinct disadvantage, and he's ready to make him a meal. The wolverine does a pretty good job staving off the wolf, considering he can't even see. The camera operator did say that the wolf tried to attack the wolverine a little more aggressively, but eventually the wolverine shook the bucket off his head, and he was able to defend himself now. Both of them ultimately went their separate ways. Here's some really interesting footage. This deer passing by triggers this motion trail camera, but that's not the end of it. Take a look at what else the camera captured. In the background, you can see a strange, tall, column-like object passing by very quickly behind the deer's back. It was so fast that the deer barely had any time to react, except to look scared in its direction. I'm not quite sure what that thing was. The owner of the video jokingly suggested that it might be a pile of rocks walking by. But that's definitely not what it is. Anyhow, I'm just as baffled as you are. If it was just a glitch, then why did the deer react so strongly to it? If it were a glitch, he wouldn't even notice. Anyhow, I'll keep you updated if I find out more. I'm just going to let this video of this black panther and leopard play, but I'm curious who you think would win in a fight. Let me know in the comments. I'm going to issue a warning. Some people might not like the next video clip. Now, I've seen this video a few times and I really wasn't sure if I should put it in. However, when you break it down, it's really a story of never giving up, of grit, of determination, and it's less about the attack. So on this outdoor camera, you see this squirrel just enjoying some food, when all of a sudden, boom, the hawk swoops in and snatches this unexpected squirrel. It looks like his days are numbered, but watch what happens. The squirrel is able to somehow break free and the hawk flings him. Unreal. The squirrel walked away, and honestly, I wasn't thinking he would survive. But a few days later, look who it is. Mr. Squirrel, back at the same spot. And look on his body. He's wearing the battle scars proudly. As we rewind and watch the part where the hawk flings the squirrel off to the side, what do you guys think happened? The squirrel had to have bitten him. That's all I can think of. Great camera capture. Let me know what you guys think. This next clip is very interesting and not something I necessarily knew that happened. As you can see, a bear has acquired a moose carcass. Whether he killed it or found it, I don't know. You can see him trying to bury it next to this stream, while a few wolves stand by salivating. The bear grabs the disturbed earth, trying to cover him up. When he thinks he's done a good enough job, he heads off. Clearly that was not a good enough job because the wolves quickly moved the dirt off and had a feast. When they were finished, it was the vultures' turn, and they destroyed it, eventually pulling and prying and dragging it into the stream. Just a great camera capture. CCTV footage taken at night in the dead of winter shows a moose pretty close to this home. The homeowner had just left for work when he received a notification on his phone that the door surveillance camera had captured something. To his surprise, he just saw a big old moose standing there in his driveway. Anyhow, he went back to work. But as we can all see, the moose shakes his head vigorously, and suddenly both of his antlers fall right off. The falling antler startled the moose, and he took off. Hours later, the homeowner returned and found the shed lying in the snow on his driveway. He kinda laughed and thought, I wonder if that guy was abducted by aliens. Nevertheless, he couldn't believe his luck. He brought him inside, soaked him, and cleaned him. After a while, he reviewed the surveillance footage, and he got the chance to watch the moose shed those antlers right in front of his house. The man loved his new trophy and just felt grateful for the unexpected gift from nature. I wish I had more backstory on this capture, but what's about to happen is pretty nutty. These chicks are in a cage staying warm from that heat lamp when out of nowhere, this huge hawk shows up. He flew in from the outside and snatches one of the chicks. It's crazy. The owner said that he edited the video because it was pretty long, but about an hour later, the hawk showed back up and tried again. And you can see the hawk circling the cage. The man said that he did this for a while. Thankfully, he was unsuccessful. But man, these birds of prey, they are savages. Taken in the Philippines, this is a pretty funny video right here. You can see this little pup trying to break up a fight between these roosters. He better watch out. An incredible video taken in Canada where a man and his friend walk up on a deer that has been frozen to death. The man pokes the deer with his rifle just to make sure. Whoa! I guess he's alive. So that deer is just sleeping in the field, covered in snow. The only distinguishable thing were his antlers. Man, he looked like he was sleeping hard too. Canadian deer must just be built different. Let me know about this. I know deer pick a spot and bed down. I've seen that many times. But I don't think I've ever seen them sleeping in the middle of the field with no surrounding protection from people or the elements. I'm curious to hear anyone's thoughts about this. This clip is just a pretty cool one to me. Training hunting dogs is big where I come from. The instructor has laid out some raw meat in a line and then funnels her dog out to the courtyard where they face it head on. Watch as all the dogs line up and obey her, not touching the meat. Except for that one little guy with the arrow over his head. He can't help it. He's the class clown. She gives the command for them to eat and they go wild. Look at the mayhem. Awesome command and control by the trainer and willpower of the dogs. Watch it a few times and each time pick a different dog to watch. It's pretty funny. Even the ones that come in at the end.